Hey guys, you remember that time that I wandered alone and hungry for 45 minutes in Kyoto Station because I couldn't find an exit? Yeah, that time was awesome. And just happened, and it was great. And it wasn't that I couldn't find my exit, the exit that I wanted, it was that I couldn't find any exit. So I just wandered around in this enormous building for like 45 minutes. I went up 11 flights of escalators. That was fun. That's a lot of escalators, 11 flights. Yeah, and then finally managed to actually find a little bit of food. And then finally, 45 minutes after I got to the station, managed to find my way out to my hotel. So, you get to watch me eat tonight. Sorry, I'm really hungry. I've got my phone propped up on the head of the bed with a number of items behind it just to get the right angle. Because I didn't want to hold the phone tonight. So yeah, today was a fun day. I think everybody is starting to look forward to the trip being over. Fuses are a little bit shorter than they have been, so it's interesting. So I have the itinerary here in front of me so that I can remember what all we did. Elsewise, I totally wouldn't. So first thing this morning, we went to Ryoanji Temple. It was really cool. This is the brochure for it. You can see it has a Zen rock garden. And the rest of the garden was beautiful as well. Very green everywhere and just nicely organized. And we got to see the Zen rock garden, which is huge. Has 15 rocks in it and was designed such that regardless of where you sit on the side of the Zen rock garden, you can't see 15 stones all at once. You can see them all if you kind of walk back and forth and look, but you can never see them all at once. Which I thought was super cool, and I wish I had something like that at home. What a neat way when you're trying to solve a problem to kind of walk back and forth and try to use it to remind yourself that you should see things from different perspectives, and each perspective's not going to be able to see everything. So that was really, really awesome. And then we went to Kinkakuji? Yes, Kinkakuji, which is where the Golden Pavilion is. That was also an absolutely beautiful park. And the leaves are just starting to change in Kyoto, so we had some pretty colors. And the Golden Pavilion was pretty incredible. One of the other two members commented that when she heard that we were going to go see this house, or this temple that was completely covered in gold leaf, her first thought was, that's going to be tacky as hell. And I have to agree, I thought it was going to look ridiculous, but actually it was really, really beautiful. And we had a beautiful sunny day, so the light was reflecting off the water and then up under the golden eaves and making it look like the house had like glimmery LED lighting under the eaves, which was really cool. Sorry. And so after Kinkakuji, we went to, it was almost like a little diner. It kind of reminded me of like a Shoney's for lunch. It had Hamburg steaks, as our tour guide called it, which is basically nice hamburgers on buns with an egg on top. I thought it was actually all pretty good. So that was nice. And then we went from there to Nijo Castle, which was way cooler, I think, than I was anticipating it being. It was super neat on the inside. The shogun that built it constructed it such that the floors and most of it make this squeaking noise. There's like a little metal thing in between the floorboards that moves up and down when you step on them, that causes a squeaking noise. So it's intentionally very loud for you to walk around. And that was to alert the shogun and anybody else inside Nijo Castle that there could be a ninja walking around, which I thought was super cool. And the tinkle tinkle noise of the floorboards made me giggle the whole way through. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing in that a lot of the artwork in Nijo Castle is not the original artwork. It's like reproductions, which is kind of a bummer. Like, I'd rather see the original ones. I don't want to just walk through a building with a bunch of reproductions and stuff. But the original structure was there anyway, and that was really awesome. It was a beautiful building. We walked around outside of it a little bit and saw the Shogun Gardens, which was that was neat. That was a beautiful garden. I've got pictures down below. And then we went to a tea ceremony, which I was kind of skeptical of. I thought maybe it would be kind of boring and tedious. I recall an episode of Sailor Moon where Usagi and Chibiusa go with a few others to a tea ceremony, and the whole episode is making fun of how long it is and how hard of a time they have kneeling and how tedious and boring. They're trying not to fall asleep. And so I was really concerned that it was going to be like that. And it really wasn't. And maybe this is kind of a westernized, brief version. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. We all had nice little chairs, and our hostesses were very welcoming. And it was really neat that our tour guide, her name is Amy, who, for the most part, everybody likes, I think. I think maybe there's a couple issues there, but it's not anything like our first tour guide. I think she's fantastic. I think she's my favorite tour guide that we've had so far. She has this so much like adorable pent-up energy, but then she's actually studying Buddhism. And throughout the day, she would just periodically pop up with, oh, I attend the school of this, or oh, I'm in the school of that. And I think by the end of the day, we'd established she was like in 3 different programs. Like she goes to like a Zen, or not Zen, just a Buddhism school. And she does goes to the university locally for some reason. And then she also goes to tea ceremony school. Oh, and she's a part of the volunteer fire brigade in her town, her little area of Kyoto. So she's very interesting. It was cool to have her there at the tea ceremony because she was clearly very passionate about the tea ceremony and what it represents, and it's supposed to help with meditation and bringing peace. And she really knew all the details and was so helpful and wanted us to understand it, and helped us out along the way. It was a little bit rocky after the tea was made. It started getting handed out. We had a couple members who maybe were a little bit clueless about what was going on and maybe aren't the best at listening, and so there was some rocky moments initially. But it was okay. The hostesses were very gracious, and I think understood that we have, not only are we Western people, but we also have a couple maybe older folk who don't quite know how to listen across the cultural and language barriers, to figure something out like that and to understand the significance behind it, I guess. But they were very gracious about it, and so we all got served tea, and it was actually quite nice. And then we were let free for the day, and I wandered around downtown Kyoto a little bit, looking for various stores and kind of last minute souvenirs. And then I decided to go to a show that our tour guide had given us brochures for, which was the Gion Corner. I don't know if there's really a name for the show. It was held at Gion Corner. That was the venue in the Gion district, which is a very old district and very beautiful. A lot of the old like wooden buildings. It was basically just 7 different Japanese art forms. Chado, which is the tea ceremony. Koto, which is the Japanese harp. Kado, which is flower arrangement. Gagaku, which is court music. Kyogen, which is ancient comic plays. Kyomai, which is the Kyoto style Maiko or geisha dancing, and Bunraku, which is puppet play. And it was not as good as the one that I went to in Kanazawa in the geisha district. But it was still worth seeing. It was fun. The ancient comic play was especially cute, I thought. So yeah, I kind of wrapped up my night with that and took the train back to Kyoto Station, and then wandered around Kyoto Station for 45 minutes. So that was kind of my day. I ended up with these fun pastries. I'm curious to see how these turn out. There's this thing in Japan, which is a chain called Mr. Donut, which, as you can imagine, sells donuts. But they also sell some savory type pastries, and I really wish that I had a microwave, but I don't even know if that's a thing. And so I was really just trying to get something quick, and on my way back to my hotel and cheap. And so I found these at Mr. Donut, which this is kind of made to look like a pizza slice, and it was labeled pizza bread with tomato, I think is what it was called. And then this was it looks like just like a couple pieces of bread with cheese, and I think it's called French cheese or something. So I don't know. They were cheap and they were on the way, and it was something unique, so I thought I would try it. At this stage, I am actually substantially under budget for what I had kind of put aside for this trip. In fact, I'm about half of what I budgeted for this trip in terms of not including like flight and then the travel fees to Samurai or anything, but just like my spending money once I got here for food and souvenirs and stuff. So I'm actually about half, but I kind of like to keep it that way. I'm not really in the market for really expensive souvenirs. So at this point, I have a set amount of yen left in my wallet. It's not a whole lot of yen, but I'm trying really hard to just like kind of use up that yen and then not use anymore, which I'm hoping to succeed in, because I believe breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all paid for us tomorrow. And then tomorrow's gonna be our last day. That's our last full day. We have our sayonara dinner tomorrow night. So I'm really hoping, I think it's like $29 that I'm trying to get by on. So we'll see if I do. Like I said, I'm substantially under budget. So I've definitely got money in my bank account if I need it. I've got ample money left over, but if I could not use that, and instead, sorry, YouTube just like flashed a thing across the screen. If I could not use that and not have to worry about changing a bunch of currency back into US dollars, and then maybe have some money left over from this tour to put towards student loans or something, that'd be great. So it's been a fun trip. Japan's pretty awesome. I feel very confident that if I were to come back, which hopefully I will one day, and hopefully bring Hampton with me, I would not go with a tour group. Really, I would want to spend much more time in Tokyo than what I did. And I feel very confident in navigating the subway system there by myself. I don't think it would be an issue at all. I think the only thing that would maybe be a little bit daunting is getting in between cities. And even then, the bullet train seems to be pretty easy to figure out and pretty intuitive. But probably not. Even if I did elect to do a group tour in the future, I think I would maybe not ever do samurai tours again. This is not... From the tour group side of things, and from the samurai, the tour group company side of things, it's not been a good experience. But on the Japan side of things, it's been pretty great. I'm finally excited. I'm excited I finally got to see this country that I've wanted to see for a very long time. I'm always a little bit embarrassed to admit when people ask me, why did you want to come to Japan? Well, I've been in love with this cartoon that came out ever since I was 4 years old that originated in Japan, and it just led to this fascination and want to learn about this culture. It's a little embarrassing to admit that it all started with a cartoon, but whatever. I did find, I kind of, it was kind of, what would you call it? A waste, not a waste, something similar, going to Animate last night, and Yodobashi camera was a little bit of success with the capsule machines, but in general I've been surprised at how few Sailor Moon souvenirs I've seen in Japan. And I didn't buy any in Akihabara because I thought, oh, it's Japan, I'll find them all over, and that's really not the case. I think Sailor Moon is old news here at this point. It's easier to come by Sailor Moon stuff in, low battery mode. It's easy to come by Sailor Moon stuff in the United States, honestly. But tonight, it just so happened that where the tea ceremony was directly across the street from a major anime store. And so I went, and the anime stores are typically, and I think this is consistent for a lot of Japanese department stores, they're packed. In the United States, they have to follow ADA restrictions, and so all the aisles have to be a certain width for wheelchairs to get through. I don't think such a thing exists here, because these places are absolutely packed. Like, you cannot fit two people side by side in these aisles. Like, not side by side, but like chest to back and squish. You can't fit two people. So I wandered. The name of the place was Animega. I wandered and couldn't find anything that I was looking for. So finally I used my Japanese and went to the counter and just asked. And she was able to direct me to a little Sailor Moon section, so I got a few additional Sailor Moon souvenirs that you really can't get in the United States. So I was excited about that. I've been kind of low-key and like hiding that from my fellow tour members, of like when I go off on my own, not being like, oh, I'm hunting for a Sailor Moon souvenir, because again, I don't know how you explain a love of a cartoon to people who are like 20 to 30 years older than you, and you yourself are an adult and professional and successful and totally obsessed with this cartoon. But I got my souvenirs, so I'm excited. And definitely the highlight of this entire trip for me has been going to the musical, which was just everything I have dreamed of since I was about 14 years old. So that was pretty incredible, and hopefully I can time any future trips to Japan so that I can go back and maybe see another one in a couple years. That would be fantastic. Yeah. So I guess that's it. One more journal entry, I guess, tomorrow, and then after that it'll be airport entries and the trip home, which I'm very excited about. I'm ready to go home. Feeling a little homesick, so I'll be excited to get back and see everybody. So y'all have a good night, or good morning, as it were, in the United States. Have a good day. Bye.